Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk all about orange lipstick. I am a huge fan of orange in general, but I do love orange lipstick maybe as much as red, if not more. But anyway, I've got some oranges in my collection and I just want to have fun swatching them, really talking about how different oranges can play with your complexion, what kind of energy they give off. This is part of my Color Magic series where I'm basically looking at color and just really focusing on one and what kind of energy it gives off. So I've got a few things in front of me from my collection. We got some Fille, we got some Eldridge, some Merit, and a couple others. So if you're ready to nerd out about orange lipstick with me, keep on watching. The first lipstick I'm gonna swatch today is from Fille and it's the shade Power Suit. For anyone who doesn't know, this is Jamie Genevieve's brand. Yeah, anyway, why don't I just put it on and then talk about it. So here's the shade just on its own. I usually like to put a dark brown lip liner with it just to really structure it because it's kind of a bit more of a muted orange in a way. So I find having darker edges in the lips is the best way to show this off. So I'm going to show you that with a bit of a lip line, just a soft one. I feel like adding that lip line just really structures the lip and lets the color shine more than when it's on its own. So anyway, I've had this one for many years. I find Fille in general and Jamie Genevieve's brand is perfect for anybody who likes tones that are a little bit more muted, grungy. She really seems to have mastered the art of the subdued tones. So I really love this one in particular for fall because it has that kind of mutedness to it. I think it's just really wearable too. It's not a bright orange, so it can go with a lot of different makeup looks. I've definitely paired this one with more bold eye looks without it feeling like it's competing with an eye look. So that's what I really love about this one. It really just says autumn to me. I think it's so pretty. And shout out to Rose Inks, the shade Foxglove, because this is the blush I always wear with orange lipsticks, whether it's a vibrant orange, a muted orange like this. I just want to say there's something about this apricot-y shade that has a bit of pink and a bit of orange that seems to universally work with orange tones for me. It doesn't compete too much with the orange again, and I find that's a theme that will come up as I swatch some more brighter tones is you really want the lip to feel somewhat harmonious even when it's a bright lip. So sometimes when I try and do a brighter orangey blush with a bright orange lip, it can work, but there's something about it being a little bit more subdued on the cheeks and letting that orange lip really shine that is something I've noticed. So anyway, this is Fille Power Suit. Really just a great everyday shade. Next up, I have Eldridge's Velvet Morning. You guys have definitely seen me feature this before. It's a really interesting and unique lip shade. I'll put it on and we'll talk more about it. Okay, this shade is just so fun to me. This is when I literally want a pick-me-up when I'm in a bad mood or something, or just feeling really bleh. I will literally wear this lipstick shade and it'll transform my energy. And that's why I love this idea of makeup being a kind of color magic, because color does have this way of transforming our energy, from the way we paint our walls to the colors we see in the world around us. Anyway, being super nerdy right now, but I really love wearing this in summer in particular, and I'm going to show you something interesting about that. Because summer light is very bright and warm, having a bright shade like this really works. So if I up the exposure a bit on my camera right now, the brightness of the light around me goes better with the brightness of the lip. So let's go even brighter. Yeah, when you're outside on a summer day, it just really pops and just feels really fresh and just like summer in a lipstick. Little story time. I got this lip shade after I was obsessing over this look Sadie Sink had for Fashion Magazine. Anyway, I had MAC Lady Danger, and I was like, this totally looks like Lady Danger. But then I was nerding out about it and asking people online, and they're like, it looks like Lisa Eldridge Velvet Morning. So I bought Velvet Morning, and I do love Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. So I've done a whole like video on all my shades. So check that out. I'll link it down below. But anyway, I bought it for some reason, even though I swear Lady Danger by MAC is such a dupe for this. I'm going to show you side by side a swatch. So I have Lisa Eldridge Velvet Morning here and MAC Lady Danger. They're so friggin' similar. I'd say if anything, this has a little bit more pink in it. And then this has a little bit more orange, maybe? So anyway, and then when I finally asked the makeup artist, I commented, they're like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that this was MAC Lady Danger. So after I was like obsessing over the shade, turns out it was the one I already had. And then I went out and bought some other new one. But anyway, no regrets, because in particular, Lisa Eldridge's formula is really my favorite, and her colors are so thought out and nuanced. So anyway, that's the story behind Velvet Morning. And yeah, it's really come to be a favorite lip shade of mine. Such a great shade for when you want to pick me up and you just really feel like rocking a bold lip. But once again, this is where the slightly subdued blush really comes into play. Like even now, I'm just like really happy with my blush decision and how it's working. When I wear a brighter orange blush, which I do sometimes, it just competes a bit too much. Just noting that again. And let's move on to another lipstick shade. Next up, I have Melt 710. It's a little mini one because I got it like from Sephora and like one of those free gifts. Yeah, this one is a really interesting shade. So let's check it out. Even though this falls under the orange lipstick category, up close I can see what's left of Velvet Morning just like trying to peek through. And it really shows how different oranges and any colors can really be, because that brightness almost coming through is a bit at odds with this shade. This one's a bit strange, right? I'm going to pop on a bit of a liner once again to like structure this more subdued lip shade. I forget about this one a lot because it literally slips through the cracks of my collection because it's so small. But it's just like a really unique shade. What I like about it is that it's almost like a neutral in some ways because it's so like muted and kind of like, yeah, almost like a classic nude. And Melt, when they do shades like this, like they tend to really lean into that kind of like grungy nude vibe. This one's fun to pair with like a more like golden grungy eye, like with the Melt Smoke Sessions palette, if you know, or sort of like really earthy, like browns and mustards. It really just like complements those tones. So I kind of reserve this shade for looks like that when I want like to really lean into the muddiness of it. It's not something I usually pop out on its own, although looking at it now, it's kind of like a really fun shade just on its own. Yeah, really, really interesting. Almost has a bit of yellowness in it, if that makes sense, rather than really the pinky base of like Velvet Morning before it. So yeah, it's a really, really unique shade and I'm happy to have it, even if it's in mini form. So now let's move on to some like glossier oranges, which will be fun. This is Cabo from Merit. This formula is like a little bit glossy. It's like a balm lipstick. Okay, so with a formula like this, a balmy formula, I always use a lip liner, especially because you can't really get the pigment to the edges of the lip quite the same as an intense matte. And I find lip liners just really provide, once again, the structure something like this needs, at least for my style. And this liner is Versatile Chestnut. I've been using this a lot lately on my channel. It goes really well with oranges in general. I did use Endless Cacao with the Melt one though. I find this to be just like a really classic orange, like not too bright, not too muted. It's just sort of like that perfect in between. I actually end up using this shade a lot when I'm like layering lipsticks because it's like a balmy formula. It can be great like over something like a pink when you just want to add that touch of like orange or something to it, like especially when you've done a whole makeup look and you're like trying to get the lip color right and nothing's working, and then you kind of have to like modify it by doing some mixology. In general, with these Merit like balmy lipsticks, I do that a lot. I love using these as topper lipsticks, and it's definitely a bonus that it's balmy and hydrating. So days when my lips are like not happy with a matte, these are like lifesavers. Yeah, I think it's really nice. This type of lip feels pretty harmonious with my complexion. It's just like not necessarily all the center of attention like Velvet Morning, but it feels like, yeah, just super wearable, super approachable. And yeah, I'm gonna bust this one out more. I kind of forget about it. When I think about doing an orange lip, I'm always like, go big, orange lip. But it can be really nice just to have something like very wearable. Yeah, there's just really something about orange lipsticks in general, like I obsess over. I remember when this obsession started, actually. I just had a memory down memory lane. Scarlett Johansson once put out an album. It's a really strange album. It's like these covers of Tom Waits songs. Definitely check it out if you're interested in that kind of like strange, moody, dissonant music. It's called Anywhere I Lay My Head. And the album cover, she has this bright orange lip on. And I was about 15 years old when this came out. And what do you know? I obsess over that lip shade the same way I did with the Sadie Sink lip. But I think that's where this all started. I remember I had some shade of a Revlon lipstick that I found in the drugstore, and I wore it all the time. And back in high school, I didn't wear blush, I didn't wear mascara, I just wore lipstick. I didn't do my brows. Oh, Lord, what was she thinking? But anyway, that is definitely where this started. And many of you know, I'm just like obsessed with autumn and like autumny colors. So orange definitely fits into that. Anyway, rant over. Let's swatch some more lipsticks. Also from Merit, this is their like tinted lip oil formula. And this is in the shade Cara Cara. And this one's just like an easy, breezy orange. And you just want a tint to color. Once again, a great topper lip. Sometimes I'll just pop this on when I'm like really need hydration on the lips and want a little bit of a tint. This has like a touch of peachiness to it. I would normally wear this with a liner if it was like part of my whole makeup look going out or something. I'm not going to bother right now just because I got to preserve my lips for a few more lipsticks. But this one's really great for anyone who just wants that tint of orange, a little bit of warmth on the lips. Once again, great for topping on top of other shades if you want to like alter the color a little bit or just like add some gloss to what's going on. Yeah, I have a few of these in different colors and they're definitely like great for like throwing in my camping makeup bag, which is my no makeup. You know what I mean? Or just like having in my purse all the time. Love like something like this for that. So yeah, really approachable, really easy. And I really like this lip formula. It's really like slippery on the lips and not sticky. One more glossy orange lip before we move on to just a couple more. This is from About Face. This is their lip butter in the shade Cherry Pick. My mom and I not too long ago did like a full face trying out About Face. This lip I found really fun. It is so vibrant and so glossy, but I'm going to put a liner on first with this because it's so intensely glossy. It makes sense to do a liner first. So a little bit of liner, and then it's interesting. You like pump it up and it is like intense. It smells like apples or something. Like it can get really pigmented and glossy, as you can see. In fact, I feel like it can like deliver too much pigment in one go. So I usually like to like just do this as a little bit of a swipe or like diffuse it into the lip line. This reminds me of the Merit Cabo, but it's just a little brighter, a little glossier, just like a fun shade for like when you're really in the mood for like a really bright orange glossy lip. The formula isn't particularly wearable in some ways. Like if you're drinking wine or something or drinking with this, like a cup, it's going to get all over the cup more so than like even the lip oil, right? It's very like juicy and just like slippery, slidey, but with that comes like really intense shine and pigment, right? So this can be a great one for just like when you're really in the mood for something just like bright, but also like hydrating and fun. I actually want to play with this one more because I haven't busted it out too much. It's still a little bit newer to me. And with any kind of new lip shade formula, whatever, I find it's like a bit of a learning curve in some ways. It's like, how do I want to wear this that makes me feel my best self and that like works with my complexion, my style, whatever it is. So anyway, this one's still newer to me, but like I'm happy to have it in my collection. I think it's really fun and just like a fun option to have. So I have a few more lip shades, about 3 more, finishing it off with what might be my favorite orange. So stay tuned for that. This is Makeup by Mario Cam. This is more of like a really like a brighter peach. I think I wore this in one of my spring, like the light spring makeup look or something. Once again, this is more of like a neutrally orange, a lot easier to pair with a brighter eye or brighter cheek. It's not something I turn to all that much. Ultimately, I consider myself more of like a lipstick lover, and in that I love vibrant shades, deeper shades. So it's almost like I have to force myself to sometimes like opt for these lighter shades, but it's really nice to switch it up sometimes depending on what else is going on in the makeup look. But this is one I just find like, once again, like easy to wear, easy to pair with like a teal eye. Oh, maybe that's what I used it with. I'm trying to remember. It was like in some of the spring makeup looks I was doing with the Color Seasons experiment. Yeah, just a simple peachy orange, pretty neutral, and it's a nice formula. It's like a matte. It's similar to the Lisa Eldridge in some ways, like just like really soft feeling on the lips. I really don't have much by Makeup by Mario now that I think about it. I think I just have 2 lipsticks, that's it. But I'd love to try more of his brand in general because he has some really interesting products there. And moving on, I had to shout out Fenty Freckle Fiesta. This is a favorite orange of mine, but sadly discontinued. Fenty discontinued this whole line, but sometimes you can still find these lipsticks on sale. They did some really fun colors. Like I ended up picking up like a turquoise to have in my collection. Not that I ever wear it, but it's good to have just in case, I guess. But yeah, they had some really fun shades, and Freckle Fiesta is a favorite of mine. And so I'm very sad that it's gone, but here she goes. I love this lipstick because it feels like the perfect in-between with like a classic orange and one of those like more muted yellow-based oranges. It's just the perfect in-between, which makes it the perfect shade for being like vibrant and summery, yet also just very transferable to looks that are more subdued. So that's what I love about this shade, and I haven't found that in any other lipsticks yet. So let me know in the comments down below if you've got any dupes for this. Not that I'll ever pan it. Let's be honest. I have so many lipsticks. I don't know why I'm concerned. Maybe if it expires, maybe that's my concern. Even so, maybe 20 years from now, I need a dupe. Let me know. But yeah, I love this shade. I think it's just really wearable yet bright. It's the perfect balance. If I lost it, I'd be sad. I guess if I lost it, I'd be sad because then I wouldn't have it and I'd have to find a dupe. So I'm going to show off one more shade, I think. Technically, I do have a couple orangey other shades floating around in my collection, but these are really the main ones I focus on. So lastly, let's finish off with none other than another Lisa Eldridge lipstick. Lastly, this is Lisa Eldridge Velvet Dragon. Somewhere between an orange and a red, vibrant yet muted. This is my go-to orange shade. Just my favorite when I want something that feels just like very me, both vibrant and kind of subdued. So here is Velvet Dragon. I love how I'm like introducing these like it's like something with a ton of accolades, like a person. The poetry of lipstick shades. Oh, look at her, so pretty. And this is Velvet Dragon. I just love this shade so much. I think Lisa said something like this was inspired by specific shades in like Chinese pottery, something like that. Once again, like Lisa Eldridge shades themselves are just like poetry, so nuanced, and the inspirations behind them are so interesting and unique. I have that whole video about that, but yeah, I just love this shade. I am going to a dinner tonight after this. Is probably the orange I'm going to stick with. It just feels just like I said, just very balanced, very in between, both being vibrant and being subdued. Very wearable. I love it. I wear it sometimes like with a darker liner too, just to switch it up sometimes. Or like this is one like I might layer a bit of gloss on top just to like, you know, have some fun, switch up the color. But yeah, just definitely an utter favorite of mine. Just really conjures the magic of orange to me, which is essentially a shade that is just very warm and it feels like a warm hug. Like I've painted my main sort of wall, kitchen wall in my apartment is orange, very similar shade to this. And I just love the comfort of orange. It's going to be a toss up when I decide my wedding date and what I'm going to wear between like an orange and a red lip. I am still eyeing Velvet Cinnabar. I think I'm going to pull the trigger this August because it's going to be the perfect fall shade to feature in some upcoming videos. And that looks like this really rich, spicy, dark, orangey red, maybe the perfect in between for me. But anyway, I always shout out that one. I've been eyeing it forever and just like, you know, Canadian duties is why I'm like always hesitant to do at least the Eldridge order. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. Here I go. Talking. I really hope you enjoyed nerding out with me about orange lipsticks. Please, please, please drop your favorite orange lippies down below because I just want to check out more, have some more just on my list when I just am in the mood for a little bit more orange in my life. I always am. And yeah, that's it for today. If you want to like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps support the channel. And until next time, may you find yourselves a little bit of makeup magic. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, witches. Toasty jump scare. Woo! Toasty, do you approve of the orange lipsticks? Yes, indeed. Why do you look like you're a dumb dog when I put you on camera? He's actually so smart. He's so smart because he naps so much. So he rests his brain, you know? He's always napping in the corner and I literally call him over and I go, time for the toasty jump scare. And he goes, okay. And he comes on over. Boop, boop, boop.